Hello, folks. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here in the representation of our Chief Technology Officer, Patrick Jean, who's busy delivering product, and so you'll have to just withstand me. I don a T-shirt, and so I'm ready to go and to become technical. And I'm here, fortunately, with a much more intelligent gentleman than I am, which is Max Wang, CTO of one of our top customers, International SOS. So really excited to be able to share a little bit of this journey that both of us has as a vendor and Max as a customer needs to deliver real direct business problems, are doing this transformation to the cloud, and now we're working with AWS. So a little bit about OutSystems. We're really into this notion of supporting customers to innovate through software. And what that means is that we really are in the business of optimizing the delivery of business software for enterprises. And so our product is an application development platform. And that application development platform, we've had a tremendous amount of success in the past years because the craft of building software inside organizations is becoming harder and harder as we progress. First of all, there's more work to do. There's about 10 times more software that needs to be produced today than 10 years ago. Second, the development of software has changed dramatically. It changed from a notion where functional requirements, the function of the software was the most important thing, to now a focus on the non-functional requirements like security, high scalability, maintainability, performance, response times. And so this has changed dramatically the way software is done and delivered. It became much, much harder. And finally, while things were pretty stable about 15 to 20 years ago, I mean, the society was accelerating. Today, change is changing faster. And so the future is coming back to us much, much faster. And a lot of what we do needs to accommodate the fact that everything we build, if we don't want it to become legacy in 6 to 9 months, we need to address the issue that we're building something that that degrades very quickly and needs to be able to change and be evergreen for the next 2 to 3 years. So we as OutSystems, we've been in this business for several years already. We were part of the 2 other companies that together created the category of low-code platforms, which now has become a big, big thing with a lot of vendors coming into this space. But the one thing that differentiates OutSystems is that we started with simple applications in the beginning of our journey, and very quickly, our customers have pushed us towards addressing very, very complex and mission-critical applications. And over the years, we've accumulated thousands of customers across 21 industries and more than 100 countries. And so what we figured out is, after a while, we realized what are the patterns that in these applications that need to be built. What are the challenges in terms of change management? And we realized there's a fair amount of commonality among a lot of industries. The problems are hard, but they tend to be hard all over. And so the examples that Max is going to show you, you should see it as a reflection not only of his particular business, but also the business of all organizations that today are facing this competition, digital transformation projects, shift to the cloud, a lot of this transformation, which has been so painful. Now, from a point of view of an application development platform, we follow 3 tenets. What that means is that our product management is fundamentally driven by improvements in 3 areas. 1, productivity. And because we are a low-code platform and we apply drastic techniques to be able to increase the productivity of developers in our customers, we target orders of magnitude of improvement, so what we call serious productivity. But it's important not only to deliver serious productivity, but do it not for toy apps, not for things that are tactical, but for portals, mobile apps, automations, high scalable services, things that are mission critical. And so the challenge is, how can we equip these understaffed teams that are completely overwhelmed with backlog and things to do to be able to deliver as an elite software development organization? And then the third driver is this notion of evergreen. Again, the problem is not only to deliver fast, not only to deliver mission-critical things, but also to be able to cope with technical debt and the degradation of software that comes with when we pile up daily changes on top of a particular digital asset like a service or an app. If we're making a change every day, there will be more than 200 changes after 1 year. And the more changes we apply to software, the more it degrades, the more we accumulate debt. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with the anatomy of debt and legacy? Because that's coming to us faster. That has to do with a lot of the changes in developers, a lot of the changes in technology and the underlying stacks, and a lot of changes in the applications that grow very exponentially in size, and therefore increasing dependencies and increasing knowledge that's needed to make the next change. There's a lot of stuff related to software development that makes it really, really hard. And so from a point of view of OutSystems, for the ones who don't know how these platforms, what are the major components of these platforms, one of the major ones is that development is done visually. In the case of OutSystems, we have highly sophisticated language research team that uses a language that covers the 6 different layers of a typical application, from user interface to databases to logic to workflows, integration, security. And with drag and drop and with modeling, we are able to create these fairly sophisticated applications. And the trick here is completeness. That's the thing. How powerful is this to be able to address 99% of all change requests that come very, very frequently into the developer hands? The second thing that these platforms, our platform always had, these platforms are, and this is becoming something that's been evolving to all the category, it's that you don't want to build fast or develop fast. You actually want to change faster. And so changing faster means that these platforms, in the case of OutSystems is a case in point, need to automate and make it really easy to go through the CI/CD cycle pipelines. So building those pipelines, getting into testing, getting into those stages, the whole DevOps operative relationship needs to be automated, and that's what we do. There's one final thing that we do that's very important to us to address the evergreen or the build to change and the legacy creation issue. It's the fact that we've built this platform as a collection of layers that are detached from each other. What that means is that the top layer, where we have the tools that develop applications, it's actually independent from the runtime where the applications run. And in the middle, we have a highly sophisticated collection of services powered by AI, powered by compiling and transpiling technologies that take the graphs that are produced by these visual environments and produce native stack applications where we can leverage the services, we can leverage the non-functional requirements, and the things that we want to achieve from a point of view of the supporting stack. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the journey we've been doing in the past couple of years as we move towards a platform that sustains 1 billion users and Black Friday type of transactions that we can only achieve with architectures that mimic things like Netflix in the cloud. The changes that we have been doing have been in the 2-layer sections of the stack. And so without further ado, I'll pass it to Max, and then I'll pick up to explain a little bit of our journey with AWS. Max.
Thank you. Thank you, Paulo, and thank you, Patrick, for working together in the last couple of years. It has been really a great journey. So before I start into details, I just want to introduce everybody to the International SOS. So for us, the company is we operate worldwide, and then we have more than 12,000 global clients. And then if you look at our Fortune Global 100 clients, we have near 90% of the market share. So we are the industry leaders in this space. So if you look at our corporate clients, right, we have all these big name clients, and for whichever the company operate internationally, we are the leading providers to provide their assistance. So our business actually is to provide a service and assistance when people in trouble. So for example, for you, when you are traveling internationally, or when you are being assigned into a different countries, or if you are on a remote work location, either on the oil rig or in the jungle, right, looking for mines and things like that. So in case something happened to you because of a medical, because of a security, because of health, or even in today's world, COVID, all of these situations, and even just as simple as losing your passport, and then also you need your prescription filled. All of these services, that's what we do. So we operate internationally, and then also we provide the services to not only corporate clients, but then also you can see all these government agencies worldwide, from the United Nations to Department of Defense, like in the US, and then NATO's, and then also USAID, UNICEF, all of these the government and the NGOs, they are also our clients. And so basically, as long as any organization has a footprint in any part of the world we operate, we provide assistance to them. And so you can see worldwide, we actually operate 26 fully staffed 24/7 assistance centers. This is the footprint. What we have is we have near like 100,000 providers worldwide to provide help, like anytime, anywhere you need any help. So from as simple as losing passport all the way to the provide a fully medical equipped jet to transport you from one location to the other location. So basically, anytime you need any help, and then you can literally just either call us, text us, or even just press a button on our app, and then you will be serviced by us, worldwide organization. So this is some stats about what we do, and as you can see, is we provide a large volume of support worldwide, and then from the assistance calls to the providing the intelligence, trackings, reporting, and then also the medical health, travel security services worldwide. So we provide all of these services to the clients. And then for us, we not only we provide the services to the corporate or the organizations, but as an individual, right? Like as you travel, say you are on the sightseeing tour to South America or into Africa, into Asia, or even to Europe, or even in the United States, like everyone is on a business trip to attend this event, right? In case you need any help, you can also subscribe as an individual members, and then we also provide the service, in case you need any help. So I may sound like a salesman now, but this is just a brief introduction to what we do. But then also hopefully can give you some context about the type of applications what we do. So here you can see essentially it's the requirement for the product we provide. So for the service we provide, of course we provide a service, but as an integral part of that, we also provide the SaaS products to our clients. So that include web-based applications, but then also the native mobile applications. So that's essentially what we do. As a part of the service, we also provide the product, the software product, to help them to have a more integrated, better experience. Like today, you can see everybody has a mobile phone in your pocket, and then the way to communicate used to be a phone call, but nowadays most people rely on the text message or the mobile app, and then even the telecommunications. So we also provide the products like that to our clients. So this page basically summarizes what type of applications we need to build. One is obviously mission critical. So for people need our service, it's always because they have in some type of unusual or sometimes even emergency situation. So it's a mission critical. But then the service obviously needs to be 24/7, 365, highly stable, highly scalable, and also highly available. And then we cannot go off air and go offline for any time period, right? We have to be able to operate worldwide. And then also, as the business has been rapidly changing, as we all have experienced, like in the last 2 years because of a pandemic, and we have to pivot and then move into a very global presence. For example, for one of our the key initiative is the workforce resilience. So that's what instead of just for the travelers, international travelers, but then we also provide a service and then to the entire workforce. So like today, right, as we all are working remotely or in some kind of a hybrid environment, and then your workforce is highly distributed worldwide, and even in the United States, right? The people may work for a company based in California, but physically the person is based in Montana. How do you manage this workforce? How do you provide a service and assistance to all of these distributed workforces? It becomes more and more demanding. So that's where a lot of customers start coming to us, ask for a lot of features. And then especially in this pandemic world, right, we have a product developed just specifically to meet the need to serve people, like provide information and then also the targeted, focused service to them. And then, of course, we have to be very mindful about our cost. And then, as today, right, we all running on a very tight budget. And so we have, as we develop, and then we have to be very mindful about the cost. And then we have to move fast, and then to be able to release very rapidly for our product. And I think these are the things we all commonly experience in today's business climate. And then these are some of the challenges. I think it will be very familiar to most of the attendees here, and we all running into this one. For our product, it has been developed for the last 20-some years, so it has been experienced rapid change in the last 20 years, but as a result, the product maybe it's organically grown, but then also maybe it's drifted along the years, right? You end up with a large number of varieties of different technologies, different tools, and then in place. So we have to be able to address those issues. And then, but for us, the solution, I think our journey is very similar to quite a few companies you have experienced. The first part is we need to really improve our cloud infrastructure. That's what recently we have migrated our entire ecosystem into the AWS cloud, and then very successfully, and then without much the production incident happening. So that is one of the first step. But then also we need to transform our legacy applications into those highly scalable, robust, and then also highly available cloud application. So those are the things is easily said than done, but then we just have to do it, right? To provide highly available, highly scalable applications. But then the hard part actually comes into what do we do with all this drifted technology landscape. So one of the key initiatives we have done in the last couple of years is to streamline our technology landscape, to simplify, but then also to adopt the different platform for our product development. So obviously along the way, we need to re-architect and also to modernize our backend system. So for one of the initiatives we adopted is a low-code development platform. This one is, I think sometimes it could end up in some kind of a philosophical discussion, right? As we all grow up as a native code developer and very familiar with just writing the code directly to develop application, we would like to have a full control and ability to customize. But then because of the business climate has changed, but the other part, the key part is we have to be able to leverage the tools available to enable us to move faster and then to be able to have adopt a changed environment. So if you started with a lot of native development from the beginning, sometimes it is necessary, right? Especially if you are developing highly customized applications. But for us, for most companies' applications, I would imagine it's actually not absolutely necessary, especially for the tools, like not only like provide you with the ability to develop a product rapidly, but then also offers you the ability to customize, to build the software applications. So those are the things essentially can cover probably 95, even 99% of the need. And then for the areas you really need to customize, you could always integrate that into this platform to make a full product. So from this is one of the lessons we learned, and then we don't necessarily have to start everything from the beginning. And then we could adopt a lot of existing tools and the technologies and then to develop faster. And at the end, our goal is not for us to develop a product. Our goal at the end is to serve the customer, to serve the business. So that's really why we adopted this low-code development platform, and then to enable us to move at a faster velocity with the higher quality, but then also to manage the cost and then increase our productivity. So that's basically what we have done. And then in the next, I just want to share with you an example about what we have done. And we have done quite a few products on the OutSystems platform. And then this is the recent, the native mobile application we developed. And then this one on the left, it's basically the size comparison of the size of this application. It's roughly about the 300,000 line of code. And then if you compare that with the common ones, like WhatsApp, Zoom, and then all of those type of typical, even TikTok, right? Our kids always use that one. If you look at those applications, this one, just like Paulo said, it's not your toy application or high school kids develop in a garage shop. It's a very large size enterprise application. But also, by the way, by no means I'm diminishing the importance of WhatsApp, Zoom. We all love that one. We all use this one. But this one is really just want to give you a sense about the size of the application we have developed. And on the right are some of the highlights about what type of the integration we have to do. So it is also not only is a large size, but then it's also a highly complex applications. And then this is one is a graphic view about what are some of the key system components we have to integrate into this app to make it work together. So it is built on OutSystem, and it is highly scalable and available, but also high performance, leveraging on the AWS cloud. But then the other part is also, if you look at the portion of the time we spend on actually developing this product, it is actually quite rapidly. We have just basically one team, one Scrum team, your standard Scrum team, in roughly about a little over 6 months, a 7 months time period, and start from the time we code until we actually have a production ready product, right? The first MVP product is roughly about a 6 months time period. And then, but I don't know your experience, but generally speaking, for this complex sized application, typically it requires a much higher number of developers, and then also the much longer time than just a few months or half-year time window to get this one done. So this is one of the key benefits we derive from adopting this different development approach. But then we are not really losing anything. So if you look at the features we develop, especially some of the customized features we need, we could do that. That's what the benefit of this one is. You can increase your productivity by leveraging on the standard capabilities or the features you have. But then in the time you need to customize that, we could. And then we could, our developers, in some of the areas, we do actually do the native code development, and then we integrate that with this platform. So that's really the benefit of you get the best from the both sides, and then you can increase your velocity and the productivity, but then also, if you need to customize, you could. And I think that is one of the key lessons I mentioned that we learned is, as we are developing product, right, we need to really think hard to see, do we really need to start everything from beginning? And then what is the business demand? What is the situation we have to face? And then what are the customer demand? All of these things, basically, we have to evaluate them holistically to decide what's the development platform we want to adopt. So now I'm switching gear a bit into what we have seen and what we have learned, what's coming up. So in the last year also, as many of you probably aware, is this technology landscape in the customer space has really actually changed quite a bit. For us, because we do handle quite a lot of those customized applications and also the data, not application, custom data, and then they are sensitive PII and even PHI data. So there is a much stronger demand in terms of data protection. So some of you probably have heard the data nationalism. So people, especially in the countries like Europe, in China, in Russia, and in some other Asia countries, this one becomes mandatory. You have to fully protect the data, not only fully protect the data, but then where you store data is becoming a much more demanding, right? Very often they will demand that all your data must physically locate within the national or the regional border. And then some of them, they even limit like your transit, the data in transit, like even just passing through some other countries, they may have an issue with that. And then the other one is also the cloud sovereignty issue. So this is the part is we all used to the idea is as a product, the cloud-based product, we could just develop once and then we can operate in any part of the world. And then that was the idea we have, and then we have been working on in the cloud. But then in the recent couple of years, this one has changed. Because of there's a Cloud Act, and then also because of increasing awareness with the different government and the entities and also the regulatory agencies. They view this cloud infrastructure as their national sovereignty, as a part of their territory, just like a physical land territory. Cloud is their territory too. So there's also the demand is, if you want operate in my country, you have to make this one physically hosted in my country or in my region, and your data has to stay in my country. So what this one leads to is essentially the changing of the thinking about, instead of building a one cloud to fit all, we have to build a cloud. Essentially, it's a fit for each of the different regions. In some ways, we need to build a cloud silo. Let's say for Europe, we build a cloud, full stack cloud from the application all the way down to the cloud infrastructure, including the database where you store data, full stack in one region. Or you go to, let's say in China, and then they recently just passed the data protection law, and then demanding this type of compliance. So in that situation, then you have to deploy a cloud. It's a full stack cloud silo within that region. So those are the recent developments in the business and also in the technology space. So that's really lead us into the thinking about the way we have been doing and used to in the cloud. We need to rethink about that, and then that basically lead us into the what's our next generation product that should look like. So that is basically we need to adopt the container technology, and then also we need to think about instead of a cloud, one cloud fits all, but then we need to build a full stack cloud silo to be able to operate in every country, and then so that's where our direction and the roadmap that really matches what OutSystems roadmap really well. And then, so now I will hand it back into Paulo, and then so he can share more about their next generation platform.
Thank you, Max. That's fantastic. I told you this was the highlight of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank
you. We are facing, as a vendor, we're facing the same type of issues of migrating to the cloud. And as I said before, a couple of years ago, we started, we have been studying and researching a lot on container technology and scalability. But one of the issues that we've always had, because of the type of use cases, is we get customers now that come to us and say, this is all good, but I have this application that needs to reach about 150 million users. We have unpredictable spikes of extremely large transaction loads, and all these users are spread across the globe. And so we need to have geographic, we need to work out so that our performance, reliability, disaster recovery, and all of that works really, really well at this massively large scale. And the way we have been evolving the platform, these type of use cases are relatively new. They came in the past couple of years. And as we started looking into these technologies, not only at containers, but also at edge type of network optimizations, optimizations at CDN levels, and our ingress type of technologies, we realize that the complexity of building all these things using the services coming from public clouds like AWS was really, really, really complex. And so we've assembled a series of customers. One of them was International SOS that aligned themselves into pushing us towards this type of new requirements. And we defined a roadmap for the platform that we have been working. We just announced it, this new version coming up in the beginning of 2022. But this is a complete overhaul of the underlying stack of the OutSystems platform, in that we move from a traditional type of cloud approach to the next generation of massively large cloud infrastructures with three fundamental objectives, really. One is this notion of extremely large scale. Second one is addressing issues like the ones Max explained in terms of compliance, data residency, which have become really, really problematic and that demand. We target a lot of countries in the world, and we have been seeing all of these requirements coming to us in terms of the applications. And the other thing is that we see again, we constantly see this future, the change happening at faster and faster clip rates. And so one of the things we wanted to do here was moving also from a process of releasing new versions of the OutSystems platform in the cloud from months, which is what we had before, to daily releases of platform. Now, releasing new versions of an application daily, it's already a monumental exercise. But doing this on a platform, on a path that needs to support, in a multi-tenant, tens of thousands of applications from thousands of customers and many, 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 many millions of users, and never experience an outage of more than 2 or 3 seconds, that's really hard. And so I'm going to give you the amount of technology that went into and skill is a testimony to the quality of our engineering team and our product teams. And I will not make it justice, but I will give you just a couple of highlights of what this has meant for us. And so part of this technology, besides the whole edge investment that we're doing, is really on the payloads. And for that, and the way we deal, and the way we hyper-optimize Kubernetes to be able to, for us to be able to have the flexibility of creating Kubernetes clusters and payloads in regions as the regions open. It's not only because of that massively scalability, non-functional requirements that we want to address, but also because of the compliance issues and data residency and cloud sovereignty issues that Max has referred. And so in this underlying in this stack and fairly hidden and opaque to our customers who use our platform, there's a tremendous amount of intelligence and configuration around when we create an app, how is that app deployed, that containerized image, how is that deployed across the regions, across the geos, what is the patterns of disaster recovery and high availability. And the target for us, the minimal target, is 99.95. And for that requires our hyper-optimization, again, of these clusters of Kubernetes. The other item here, which is really, really important, is because of these requirements of scalability, these requirements also of sovereignty and data partitioning, there's a tremendous amount of research and implementation that has to do with the data layer. So in OutSystems, when you build an application, you end up by specifying the user interfaces. You end up by specifying the workflows and the logics and the automations. But you also specify the repositories and the data sets that are created inside that app. Those data sets are then, through our compiling and code generation technologies, they are transformed into particular targets, native targets of databases and data repositories, in this particular case, in the AWS constellation world. And so what that means also is that we have a tremendous amount of flexibility because of this architecture in using a lot of the state-of-the-art characteristics, for instance, of services like the Aurora serverless. And so we have requirements today, for instance, of being able to create millions of tenants for developers who want to have their own development environment. That puts a requirement into this platform that we can actually create extremely low-cost tenants, cost of operations of these tenants. And that means that from an architecture point of view, we have to be able to scale to zero in all aspects of the stacks. And so part of the payloads and the Kubernetes implementation that we've done allow us to scale to zero. That's fairly vanilla. But the one thing we're doing is we're doing this also at the data layer. especially the relational layer. And for that, we are relying on Aurora serverless. Now, in fact, just to reinforce, what these type of platforms end up by doing is that they dramatically simplify the complexity and the cost, not only of creating that all that infrastructure, but also operating that infrastructure and creating a CI, these continuous delivery processes on top of this massively complex scale. And so when you develop a change in a visual environment of OutSystems at that top layer that I've described, there is this concept of one-click publish where this thing activates a series of services where we do analysis of dependencies. And then we create multiple points of payloads like client payloads, backend payloads, configurations of databases. All of those things end up by, especially the backend, end up by being containerized as an image. And that image is then published on top of our infrastructure. That infrastructure then, we can deploy it in one cluster for simple customers or deploying in these complex worldwide high availability type of settings. And all of that becomes fairly independent, fairly automated as we do. And by doing this automation, we dramatically compress, remove errors of compliance, remove errors of security and risk, but we also remove a lot of the risk of us relying on an extremely complex set of SecOps skills that then are going to leave and are going to leave a very, very complex infrastructure that needs to be maintained for the next 5 to 7 years. And with that, with OutSystems and this type of approach, it's almost as if we provide all these SecOps, all these SREs, all this process, all this continuous delivery, and we give a fair amount of customization and whatever, but we take away all the toil, we take away all the risk, and make it really available so that with very high productivity, relatively understaffed and smaller teams, you can truly produce highly quality applications that today are delivered by very, very large elite tech vendors. And so I would challenge you guys to, if you have any questions, please send it to us in terms of our technology, how we do this, but also to be able to experiment with this product and really understand that under the hood of all this simplicity in terms of serious productivity, there's really a focus on making sure that everything that we build using these visual, very simple ways of building is actually extremely useful, but also is built the right way, and it's built for change. Thank you very much. And we'll have some time for 1 or 2 questions for myself and Max, if that's the case. No questions? Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.